Hello everyone, this is Lori and Grammy's Keepsakes, and we're in part 2 of remaking this old 1881 German English primer. So in our last video, we took the front and back cover and we made book cloth and a new spine and attached it. I did some dry brushing of an espresso color, which is a real dark brown, some sanding, and then I took paste wax and I waxed the front and back covers to give them some protection and kind of bring the color back to life. And the inside of our book, I put a little bit of the paste wax on the inside covers as well to give them some more protection. So now we're going to do the signatures. And I got a couple pieces of cardstock and they were only single-sided, and so I coffee dyed them so that I've got some pattern going on. And it was a 12 by 12 paper, so I cut it down to length, and it's 7.5 inches. And then I scored it at 4 7/8 and another 4 7/8. Folded the excess over so we have a pocket. I guess it goes like this. My music notes were upside down. And then I stitched all the way around them. So now I thought we'd do a little bit of stenciling. Because this is a primer, I'm going to bring in some numbers. My alphabet stencils aren't all that fantastic, so I'm not going to use those. And I have vintage photo and a makeup blending brush. And I just thought we would play a little bit with our Tim Holtz stencils and the numbers. Just give it another little layer of goodness. I'm trying to hold it tight so it doesn't shift on me. And that's how we're doing so far. Looking good. And come in for the number 1. So there we've got some stenciling on the front. And let's pop her over to the back and do the rest of our numbers. And I'm trying to hold the opening of the numbers ahead or on top of them so that I don't get shadow. A lot of times I'll take masking tape and tape the openings so I can be more careful. But I'm afraid that the tape might stick to my cardstock and pull some of the paper off when I release it. Ooh. So I like that. Just gives it a little extra. And then I've got this one, which is like a collage of numbers. And I don't believe I've ever used this one before, so let me give it a try. And of course, you don't have to do all of it. I think I'm going to just like do it in clouds. And get a little tiny bit over here. And let's flip it over to the other side and do a few more. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Put my stencils out of the way. So I'm going to have two signatures. My spine is 7/8 of an inch. And I have a stack of papers that I thought I'd use. I started folding some of them, and then I stopped. I thought, wait a minute, let me just take you along for the whole ride. These were individual pages like this that I ripped out of a notebook, and I put them together and washi taped them so that I've got a complete page. So we'll have one of those in each, and book page. This is Rhodia dot grid writing paper, and this is fantastic in its hand. It's nice and smooth. Your writing doesn't bleed through the paper. It's just beautiful. And I've got some tea and coffee dyed here. It's got, give each one kind of a dark and a light and another light. And some digital. And this is some newsprint scraps that I pulled out of my bin, and I thought they might be fun to use. And here I've got calligraphy practicing paper. It is a little primer with all that beautiful handwriting, so I thought we'd use that, bring that theme back in. And I've got regular reader handwriting paper, and I did tea dye that. Just fold it in half. And I've got some more sheets in case we need. I'm going to put them over to the side for now though. And then I've got this wonderful book, Calligraphic Alphabets. And I picked this up at a secondhand store. And I thought, this is beautiful. So I pulled out a couple of pages of that. And fold those in half. I'm going to have to do some trimming on some of these. But isn't that a beautiful page? Okay. And then here I've got a couple more pages. This is a ledger and another one of these. Let's count them. I want about 12 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, well that's over my 12. Let's see if it'll fit in the book. I'm just going to slip them into the cover. We're not doing anything fancy yet. We just need to make sure that they're going to fit. Otherwise, I have to whittle some down. That is pretty stuffed. It doesn't want to stay closed. I'm going to have to take some out. Bummer. Well, we don't need ledger. Let's get rid of that. And this was an extra one. Let's get rid of that. Yep, we're going to have to. So let's go through. Got to have the book page. That's important. And I got to have the calligraphy. And that, and that. What else do we have? Music manuscript pertains to writing. And let's do 2 of the tea dyed. And the rhodia paper has to do with writing. It's such a beautiful texture. So let's see what those are going to bring. We'll count them again quick. 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So I can bring one back. Or I can put in an envelope. That would add some nice texture. Well, or do I want plain tea dyed? No, I think that's good. So this one we have 12 pieces. So let's take a look at this one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now let's take a look. Much better. Let's go with that. So now all my pieces have to fit inside the signature cover. So let's work with one at a time. And I'm going to clear off my cutting table that's over here on my left. So we're double checking our height. 7.5 by 4 7/8. So the pages need to go inside that. So we're heading for 4 3/4. A little bit tall, a little bit wide. Okay. So this page is too long and too wide. So we can rebuild it from the inside. The condition of the paper, I think that's probably best. Let's go ahead and trim off that fold and rebuild it. Move that aside. And I'm sure everybody's got their own way of doing this, and that's good. but this is the way that I do it. Can use muslin, but that's going to add some more bulk for us. Lining up my pages. Let's go ahead and add one to the center here too. And this is a Tim Holtz collection of washies that I have. It's called Butterfly. This one's narrower. Okay. A little bit waste, that's okay. It's almost straight. Now we can put that in our journal. And this page, and this is, we're going to have to do some trimming all the way around. Let's put this one in the center. We'll refold it. And some of my insides are going to need to be trimmed. That's okay. And some of my top is going to be need to trim, or the bottom, depends on how you look at it. Okay, just going to grab a couple pages at a time and trim a little. And it's just a hair off I'm going to take. Now let's see how it looks. Okay, this one is too tall. I've got to take some off. Well, let's see. I'm going to take it off the bottom because the coloring on the bottom is further up the page. And so we'll still have the coloring. But I do want to bring back that curve. So I'm going to take a little bit off of these. Looking pretty good. Now that I have it together, I want to give it a clip. And now I know, especially if I have several signatures for the book, what I do is I put the clip up high for the first, and then I progress down so that I know what signature goes on top. But this one's only going to have 2, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, we have a lot of work to do on this one. And I think I'm going to pull this out and bring in one of the other ones. A little bit more interest. And this is a writing journal, so I always try to keep that in mind. Make sure that I have a lot of blank pages or lined pages and not very many of the busy book type pages. So now we need to trim this down so that it'll fit our cover. Okay, we need to rebuild our page. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a trim. And I have another fun washi tape. Let's take a look to see what side I want it on. Probably this side. I guess it really doesn't matter. Line up my edges. And this is an old washi tape. I don't remember where I got this one from. We wiggled a little bit. Kind of hard. I can't get my head over it. I'm going to give it a shot. Semi-straight, semi-crooked. It's all good. And then let's use our music one on this side. And this is the Tim Holtz one. And this is our binding, and I don't trust washi tape on its own. It needs glue, so that's why I'm using this Scotch Create permanent glue stick. And let's trim. And 22 and then 23, so it gets folded this way. And I need the corner rounder again for this bottom corner. And we need to do some more trimming. And then we need to trim off this big one. And that is probably not a good idea. Let's see how bad it gets. Well, it'll just be the tip of the R. So we should be okay. But this, I had to pick one of the biggest ones, and I'm going to have to cut off a lot of letters. So let's pick a different page. One that's not quite as high. And then insert that page back in and use it for a different project. Can make it work. Oh, look at that. I got two of them. Bonus page, right? Now we can trim this and not worry. That will fit. Pages look good. We need a clip. Okay, now what we need is a piece of graph paper like this, or you can use chipboard. No, not chipboard, that's too heavy. You can use cardstock, file folder, just about anything. And let's see. here, I can show you with just a piece of cardstock. I do like to use graph paper because I've got all that grid. But what if you don't have that? So this is what you can do instead. We need this to be the width of our spine. And when you were with me yesterday building this, you know that my spine is 7/8 of an inch. So this needs to be 7/8 of an inch. I'm going to use a cutter. My paper cutter doesn't like to do this narrow of a piece with ease. So that's why I'm going to use a blade and a ruler. And this is the one I want, not this. We'll put that aside. Now, is my piece going to be the right length? It's a little bit long, so let me trim it just a bit. So now I need to find my middle, and you just go ahead and fold it lengthwise, matching edge to edge. And burnish that down. I need this little crease to be well shown because it's going to go slip in the middle of my signatures so that I know where to poke. Now we need to determine where to, on words, goodness, my words are escaping me. We need to determine how far apart from the center we want to have each of our signatures, because there's two. If there was three, we would use the middle and one on the sides, but we're just having two, so we just need to space them so that they look relatively eye-pleasing. So we need a ruler, and if I did 1/4 of an inch from the side, that would put them too close, I think. So if I went, and I can't see it through the ruler, so what I'm going to do is have this creased. I'm going to take my pencil and follow that crease. So now I have a pencil line that I can follow. And I'm measuring 1/4 inch from my fold to this side. So that's where my two signatures are going to go, on these outside lines. But I need to find my middle. And you could measure, or you could just go ahead and fold your paper in half. And then using my little fold trick again, grab that pencil and make a line in that crease. There's my center. And now I want to find from the top, how far down do I want it? About that far? How far is that? Just over 3/4 of an inch. So I want this one to be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it on the back side so I can see them line up better. And pinch. And using the side of the pencil, now I have my line. Well, I need one more because I do 5. I need it in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is take this and bring it to the corner. Right there. And that's where I want that to be. Let's do it again. Bring it to the center. Give it a good crease. And I'm drawing a line because it's hard for you to see my creases on camera, I think. Might be easier for you to see a line. Otherwise, when I'm poking, I just use the creases for my marks. So that's where I'm going to have each of my holes poked. And let's see if so it'll be here, here, and now you need to pick one end to be the top. It really doesn't matter at this state because we haven't poked any holes in anything yet. So we can just, this one's folded weird, so this is my top. And I keep my binding templates, and so I can write on there, it's 7/8 of an inch by 7.5. So that when I have another book that I need that, I'll have it ready and I don't have to do it again. But I'm also going to poke a hole in the center of this so that I will have that for my signatures. But don't poke that into the spine. That wouldn't be good because then we'd have to come up with another signature quick. So I'm going to use my phone book and my awl and some clips. And they're just out of reach. I like those better. But having said that, they'll probably be too big for my spine, so I'll use the little ones. So I want to center this top to bottom and side to side on my spine and clip. I don't want anything moving. And then I'm going to take another look at it. Because I'm going through the spine, it's going to be visible if it's not straight. So that's why I'm taking the extra time to make sure that I'll be proud of the outcome. I'm a stickler for the details. And if I can help it, I will do what I can. Sometimes it's out of my control, but okay, let's go for it. So we're going to punch. We're punching through the cloth, through the chipboard, and into the phone book. And each of the two sides, no middles. I haven't figured out a way how to cover that one up if I did that. I suppose a lot of lace, right? I can't see using lace on my little primer book though. So let's just do side and side. Take off my clips, and there's my holes. And they're visible on this side. And my top was at my top. So if I should have accidentally flipped it over and did it upside down, I would have to do it upside down for each of my signatures also. But it was in the top, so we're good. I can put the phone book away. I'm going to need a new phone book soon. That thing is so full of holes. And I like to do the back one first. And let's get our thread. I think let's look for a chocolate brown. Let's do chocolate brown. I'm going to need my needle though. I have a black, but I think black is too stark. We're going with the brown. It's easier on the eyes. So I want 3 lengths because they might want to put charms or something on the ends of the strings. So I want to make sure that I leave a lot of thread for them to do that. Now the part that goes into the needle is the part that came off the spool first. It prevents tangling that way. This end was the last end that I just cut, so I want that one on the far side. So if we want to grab an envelope and stick an envelope in there, let me see if I've got one handy. that would work. Let's go ahead and open up this side. I'm going to cut it about 1/4 inch off, and that'll leave me some room. So we'll put an envelope in there. A little extra storage. Okay, now I want my phone book back, and I want the middle hole punched, because this is when we're going to need that one. Making sure that my top is over here, that my music is facing the right way, my pages with the writing, it's on top, and let's put that one in the center. This is when you can make sure everything is lined up where you want it to be. Check for anything upside down, inside out, and backwards. And hold it together, my top with my top, and then clip, and then I double check that I'm seated in there as tight as I can be. And now I'm going to go ahead and poke holes. So I put the pick or the awl in, and then close the book. Watch your fingers and punch. And do this gently but firmly, because you don't want it to go too deep. Your hole gets too big if you go too deep. And it really hurts when you put your finger in the wrong place. Oh, I so know. So we've got that. And I just unclipped one side a little bit so I could get this free. And then now I'm going to pull it out of the clip, put it to the side. My thumb is still squeezing, holding it taut. And let's put the needle through. And this is the back, the top of my book. And go in here. I'm going to leave it long. Now I'm going to come down. And this is just a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I went through the book, now through the signature. Through the signature, down to the bottom, grab the book, hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Thread's nice and long. I want to hold on this now so that I can come through. I don't want to pierce this thread. I want to go next to it. And I move the wax thread a little bit just to make sure that I haven't pierced it. Now I'm going to come up. I skip the middle hole, come up to here, through the signature, and into the book. Now in the very top hole, through the book, into the signature, pull. And this is waxed linen cord, so I am not going to break it. I'm not that strong. Now I'm going to come down to the second hole from the top, next to the previous stitch, and through the book cover, making sure that I did not pierce the thread. Okay, now I'm going to pull like nobody's business. And I have to do it correctly though, or I'm going to rip stuff. So this thread, because I went down, I'm going to have it in the up position. This, I'm coming down, so I want it in the down position. So I'm going to pull. And that gets my signatures in tight. Now I'm going to go right through the center hole. And they also line up really nice that way too. And so it came right through. And notice I still have that cord on my finger. Okay, now we're going to tie and tie one more time. Tight as a drum. Good deal. Okay, and now what I just thought of, yeah, I had the strings nice and long so they could put charms or whatnot on it. Well, I put an envelope in. So there goes the charm idea. So we're going to clip that off. Don't want it too short. I leave it a little bit. And then I use my bone folder and just flatten out the cords. Can unclip. Now when I did cut this, it is an envelope, so it's not glued all the way. So go ahead and let's put some glue in there. Let's check this side too again. Okay, and before I glue this shut, I'm going to take a look through the signature. I'm folding it forward and just pressing. Turn a couple pages and do it again. This lets me look at the pages, making sure that they're lined up the way I want them, and then I didn't miss one. For, you know, don't want it upside down. I love these book pages. So we can go ahead and glue this shut. And I'm just going to come near the edge of the envelope flap. Using art glitter glue. And I'm also going to come to the edge of the actual envelope also. And lift them both up and squeeze them down. Pin in the glue. I always forget that part. So now we have one left to do. So let's go ahead and get our string ready. And one way to make it easier to remember is which one comes off first is go ahead and thread the needle and then measure. So my needle's ready. Now I need my signature. Top of my book. Top of my signature. This script is going the right way. Making sure all my pages are going to be in order. Want to find the center. So I have somewhere to put my finger. And then let's go ahead and have fun with another envelope. Now I need this, my top, clip, centering my envelope, clip my top, make sure everything is seated into that crease, into the corner, and everything is lined up. You're all, and go ahead and start poking. On clip one, get rid of that. I don't want to sew it in. I've done that. Not fun. So I have my needle into my center. Now we go into the book, into this hole right there. And we're going to go down one. It doesn't matter, whichever way you'd like to go, but I'm going to go down. So we have it through the book. Now let's go through the signature. And my envelope moved, so, but you can see my needle here through the signature. So we'll just line up the envelope. And then we're going to come down to the bottom hole and into the book. Arthritis won't let me grab. Okay, I'm holding that center cord and I want to come down next to that other thread. So I'm through the book cover, line up my signature, try it again. There it is. I couldn't see it. Now we're going to skip the center and travel up to this second one from the top. Go into the signature, into the book cover, now we're going to come to the very top, through the book, into the signature, now I'm going to come down the second hole, the signature, into the book, okay, now I'm going to pull like nobody's business again. So this center thread, I'm going to pull it towards me, and this one I'm pulling it opposite, away from me. Still holding the cord. Now I'm going to come down that center hole. And There's the needle. And my strings are on the same side of my thread, so I want to scoot the one with the needle underneath it so they're on opposite sides. Pull your threads and tie my knot. Before I clip it, I'm good. Unclip my book. Fold my signature forward. And go 2 pages at a time and give it another crease. It helps, when you do that, it helps the book stay open. It opens up really nice that way. And the pages don't all bunch together. So with a little bit of prep work, it makes putting together your book so much easier. And I want to glue that envelope. I'm going to get rid of the needle before I lose it. I always have to put it back in the same place, otherwise, yeah, I'll never find it again. So gluing the edge of the envelope and the edge of the flap. Hold them up. And let's check our little envelope flaps too from our trimming. So our envelope's ready. So we have 96 pages in our little journal plus 2 envelopes. Pretty good. Here's our spine. And we're gonna put some book covers or corner protectors on it in our next video and get a little bit of ephemera ready to go, and then she'll be ready for a flip through, and then it'll go into my Etsy shop, so it'll be available to whoever would like to take it home and have fun with it. Want to thank you very much for watching. Have a creative day.